Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is a channel where we talk about all issues to do with parenting, life, health, and general inspiration. So karibuni sana, and please subscribe to my channel, like, share, and comment on the videos. So last week we talked about a topic that not many people really talk about. And this week again, I want to talk about another topic which is considered a taboo topic, which not many of us really like to talk about it. And I never thought that I would be talking about this, but hey, why not? Let's talk about this. So today's topic is about gender disappointment. So gender disappointment is where you expect to have a certain gender, but when you have your baby, you end up getting the opposite gender. So for me, I'll start by saying that I was disappointed when I had let me say my second baby, because my first baby is a boy. So when I had my second baby, it was again a boy. Of course, I was disappointed. I expected to have a girl. You know, in our family, there is no, in our family, basically, every home has a girl, if not two. So I expected that obviously I will have a girl, but another boy came along. So at first I was disappointed. And by the way, when I say gender disappointment, I don't mean child disappointment. I was not disappointed to have my baby, but I was disappointed to have that gender of a baby. That was initially, but yeah, that was when I went to check the gender and I found out it's a boy. So I was a bit disappointed, but then with time you just get used to it, and when the baby comes, you realize that you really loved this baby, whether whatever gender it was. So for me, I was a bit disappointed with my second baby. Then came along the third baby. The third baby, again, is a boy. So I was a bit disappointed. Okay, I can't say a bit disappointed. I was quite disappointed because I expected, really, there is no way I can have two boys and get another boy. But God decided otherwise, and I got a third boy. So I was a bit disappointed because, like I said, in our family, like every household has a girl or two. I'm the only person who has 3 boys. The same with my husband's side. He's the only one who has 3 boys. So really, you know, when you have 3 boys, there's this notion that, or rather, when you have 3 kids from the same gender, there's this feeling that, first of all, 3 kids, is it that were they trying for did they try for a third boy for a third child because they wanted a different gender? Then there's also this thing that people now start asking you again, are you going to try again for another child so that you can get a different gender? So there are always those not very good. There was always this feeling that, you know, even myself, I used to look at people who have 3 kids of the same gender, and I used to ask myself the same questions that I have been asked by people since I got my third baby, where I used to ask myself, how is it raising 3 kids of the same gender? Do they feel complete? Do these parents feel complete without a child of the opposite gender? How is it like, especially when you're raising 3 boys, how daunting a task is it? I'm sure these parents must be having a really rough time with the boys. And on the other hand, when you have 3 girls, as a parent, or rather as the people who are outside looking in, people always have this assumption that, oh, 3 girls, maybe they need to try again for a boy. Or how does especially the father, how does the father of these children feel about having 3 girls? Does he feel okay? Does he feel complete with 3 girls? How does this family feel? So there are always those questions of, are you okay with the 3 girls, or do you want to try again for another baby and try for a different gender? But then I came to realize that it doesn't matter. Mtoto ni mtoto. And interestingly, everybody else, or rather everybody thought that I would have, my 3rd baby would be a girl. I remember my sister bought me some clothes. Bought me some clothes, and most of the clothes that she bought were girl clothes. So my boy, let me just say here, my boy has been wearing some girl clothes, by the way. So sometimes he wears those clothes at home, of course. I normally don't dress him in those when I'm going somewhere. Because really, where am I going to take these clothes? He needs to, they have to be worn, so really I just use them. And besides, kids don't know whether pink clothes are supposed to be for girls and blue clothes are supposed to be for boys. It doesn't matter really. Clothes are clothes, children are children. And you find that sometimes, unfortunately, in some homes, when a lady gives birth to, especially girls, especially when you have 3 girls, there's always this thing that you need to have a boy. Then the man feels some kind of pressure that, I have to have a boy, you know, my lineage has to be continued. So really, you feel like without a boy, I'm not good enough. How are my peers going to think about me? But that's just the old African setup. I think we are in a new age, and really doesn't matter what kind of boy of child you have. And as much as I was a bit disappointed initially, I can tell you for sure that I love this boy. And I don't know, I wouldn't have it any other way. Because I don't know, I even don't know why I was even disappointed in the first place, because really I think this is what I really wanted. In as much as, yeah, people will say, oh no, you're just saying this because you had a boy, but really this is what God wanted for me, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy, and I understand that sometimes this topic is normally not talked about, especially when you're dealing with, you know, we have people who are dealing with issues of infertility. And when you heard talking about being disappointed with the gender, you know, there's this notion that people have that, oh, why are you disappointed? You know, there are other people who even don't have a child. Yeah, I get it, people, and I really feel for them. And I pray that at least people who are trying for babies can get a baby. But then that does not take away the fact that people have this gender disappointment. In as much as it is not something that is talked about much, it is something that happens really behind closed doors. But then I would say that in as much as it happens, yes, we are going to get disappointed by the gender. But again, that does not mean that we are disappointed by having a baby. I am very happy to have my babies. I was disappointed by the gender initially, but now I'm very okay with it, and I'm really happy to have these babies. Oh, being a mom of 3 boys, it's fun actually. In as much as it's hard also dealing with them, but it's so much fun. I wouldn't have it any other way. How did I cope with the gender disappointment? Or rather, how would you cope? I would say maybe the first thing is you need to start bonding with your baby. From the time of getting to know the gender of the baby, you need to bond maybe through even the ultrasound, where you just do ultrasound, get to know this baby, see them kicking, just bond, general bonding with the baby. The other thing is you need to do some shopping, maybe for the new gender. You know, like for me, I can say that I had gotten some girl clothes from my sister. My sister had bought for me some clothes for a girl, which, like I said, my baby is still wearing them, and really I don't care. But you need to buy some, you need to go for shopping and buy now for the gender that you're now getting. Like myself, I went, did some shopping for the boy, and you get to really get used to the new idea of you getting a baby of the same of the gender that you didn't expect. So when you do some shopping, you also, yeah, you really, it's a way of getting to acknowledge that, yes, I'm having this boy and this is my baby for good. The other thing is, you can start by just doing some kidogo decorations here and there for the boy, that for the gender that now you'll be getting. And it helps a lot to really just get in sync with the new development. And the other thing is that I have been doing, I've been following a lot of social media pages for moms who have boys. I've followed various other moms who have boys on the social media, and it also helps you to get to understand and get to really, yeah, get to understand how it is like raising children of the same gender. Another way that you can deal with having a gender that you never expected is just name the baby. Maybe you had a name, maybe you were expecting a girl and you had already gotten a name for a girl. It's okay, just accept, get a new name for the boy, and name the baby and start referring to that child by their new name. And that way you're going, by the time the baby comes, by the time you deliver the baby, you'll already have gotten used to the idea that this is a boy and this is the name of the boy. The other thing that's important is that it's good to prepare, maybe to be mentally prepared for anything, because in as much as sometimes, especially if you have gone through the whole process of getting a certain gender, you're normally fixated on that particular gender. But it's important to just be mentally prepared in case something happens, that in case you get the gender that you never expected, you need to be mentally prepared, because when you're mentally prepared, you're able to switch your mindset to really accept the new reality. Instead of having this fixated mindset where I'm going to get a boy, I'm going to get a girl, it's either this or no other way. Because really, once the baby comes and it's the gender that you never expected, you have no choice. You have to live with a new child and just accept the baby. Sometimes it's hard for some people. You find people actually even hating the baby. But really, it's if you're mentally prepared, if you prepared yourself mentally, it will be easier to accept the new reality. The other thing that I've been doing is that you just need to give yourself some grace. It's not really that serious that you have to have a certain gender. You just give yourself some grace. But then I realized that there are some people, for them it's not easy, especially if you have a spouse that doesn't understand. If you have a spouse that thinks that it's your fault for having, especially for having girls. And it's really bad. For some people, I know it can get really bad, because the spouse is really on your case, the extended family is on your case, your friends are on your case, you know, and you feel like you have disappointed people. You feel like you feel like a failure for having a baby of a certain gender, which is really wrong. Because it's not really for us to decide what kind of gender we should have. In as much as there are some, I don't know whether they are scientific, I don't know whether it's proven or not. There are some ways that you can use to get a certain gender, but really, it doesn't matter. So for those people who feel that they are disappointed maybe for having a certain gender, I would say if it's really that bad, maybe seek therapy, go for therapy. Even with the spouse, especially if your spouse is in denial, maybe they've been pressurized that you have to have a boy, or if you don't get a boy, who will inherit you, such like things. Just go for therapy as a couple. If your spouse is not really, some people are actually left by their spouses because of that, which is really bad, which I find really bad, because really, if you went for a biology class, you know that the XY chromosomes come from a man, not the woman. So, and some men don't really understand. They blame the woman that for having a certain kind of a gender. But I would say it's good to just talk, go for therapy if it's really that bad, and just get to thank God for the baby that He has given you. But I don't like to tell people that you should thank God that you have a baby. There are other people who don't have a baby. Every person's case is different. Of course, this person thanks God that they have the baby, but then in as much as they are thanking God for the baby, of course there is that disappointment, and you just allow someone to feel the way they feel. Let them go through the emotions. If they need to, let them go for therapy, but let us not judge each other for being disappointed. So basically, that is what I really did. I really needed to get it off my chest. And I know that I might get some backlash from people that, oh, I should be grateful. I am very, very, very grateful for my children. And I continue to pray for those who are going through fertility issues. But these topics need to be discussed. These are things that are normally not talked about, but they are things that are happening and that people are feeling in themselves. So really, yeah, that's basically it. And hopefully we are going to have more conversations along these lines, along issues that really people are not talking about, but they need to get off their chests. So subscribe, like, share, and press the notification button to be notified whenever I put up a new video. We are going to continue putting up more videos, more content for you on parenting, on life, on health issues. If you have an issue that you need to discuss along those lines, anything that you feel that can inspire someone out there, please get in contact with me. Let's have this discussion. I can come to wherever you are. We can have these conversations and we can keep this going. Thank you. Bye.